Fox 5 Health News and veteran actor and former MASH star Alda revealing that he has been battling Parkinson's disease for actually 3.5 years. There is no cure for the disease that affects the body's motor functions. However, doctors in Japan announced just today that they will begin human trials on what they are calling a breakthrough treatment.
Joining us now is Fox 5's medical contributor, Dr. Devi Nampiaparampil from NYU School of Medicine. What I thought was really interesting about his announcement was the fact that he said, if you get this diagnosis, keep going. Just keep on moving.
Oh, I agree completely. I think the way he's handling it is so inspirational, right? Especially, there are treatments, just to be clear, there are treatments that can help manage the symptoms, but we don't have a cure yet. So the issue in Parkinson's, it's sort of two-pronged. The main thing, the symptoms you see at first is that people kind of slow down, they become more stiff, it's harder for them to move. So even for speaking, in terms of controlling sort of the muscles of the mouth, you know, all of these things get slowed down. So if you think about it a different way, any of us who have, let's say, a pet or a child, you know, if you want, let's say, that pet to do something, you give them a reward, right? And then they kind of repeat that activity over and over. And if you want them to stop doing it, you stop giving them that reward, so then they eventually it goes away, right? So the brain has the same type of thing, a control center for all the movement. So if you do a movement and the brain likes it and wants you to continue doing it, it gives you a reward chemical, which is dopamine. And if it wants that movement to go away, it stops giving you dopamine. So the issue in Parkinson's is that you can't produce dopamine properly in that area of the brain. So even if you want to do a movement, because your brain isn't able to reward that movement with dopamine, slowly that movement goes away. And vice versa, you know, you get some abnormal movements, let's say tremors and other things, because sometimes it gives dopamine as a reward to a movement you don't want. So the issue
I was just going to say, do we know what this development is then in Japan, the breakthrough?
Yeah, so the exciting part is they're using these stem cells that can be used to create dopamine. So these are sort of stem cells. We all have stem cells in our body. They basically go to areas where there's damage and they turn into the cell that you need in that area. So when your skin heals, let's say after you get a cut, it's because these stem cells go there, all kinds of different growth factors go there, and they create what you need to heal that cut. So in the brain, what they're going to do in the study is inject cells that can produce dopamine into the area where there's a shortage of dopamine in the brain. Now, it's revolutionary on many levels. So first, the stem cell idea. Second, will it be able to produce the dopamine effectively without too many side effects? And third, because they're using not the patient's own stem cells, but other stem cells that have been manufactured sort of in the lab, will those stem cells potentially attack the patient, or will the body's own stem cells attack, body's own immune system attack the stem cells? There are definitely things to be looked at, but I think it's extremely promising and it's a big step forward.
Thank you. All right. You all need to talk about this because this is going to be relevant for you soon. No, I didn't have this problem, fortunately.
We're talking about toddlers being picky eaters. A new study finds parental pressure has little effect on what kids eat.
Yeah.
We haven't gone through it yet because we just had babies, but I'm dreading it.
I'm afraid too. But it seems that, at least according to the research, that, you know, regardless of how the parents approach the issue, the child will sort of learn to eat what they need to over time, right? So in general, you want to try to encourage a child to eat healthy, maybe introduce things more gently, not necessarily force them to eat it because you might meet more resistance that way. But at the same time, you know, make it more fun. So for example, if you want the child to eat veggies, maybe you have some veggies on your plate. If you want them to get adjusted to it, maybe put it on their plate first so they can see it. That's what I've learned studying this as a doctor, but if you've got more experience, yeah.
How do you get people to eat, kids to eat their broccoli?
It's been a very weird experience. My kids love all that stuff.
Yeah, so far,
I guess it really depends on what, you know, what it's an individual case, family per family.
I think so too. I mean, on the medical side, I will say, if you do see that your child has a lot of resistance to a specific thing, you can just check in with a doctor to make sure that there's no issues. Sometimes, you know, certain conditions, you may have some more issues with sensation or sensory, like the ability to taste things as well, and also some of these behaviors. So may not hurt to check in.
And tastes change over time.
Yeah.
Thank you, doctor. We appreciate it.
The veggies are in right now, so that's good.